Hello everyone, welcome to the Sunday comic live stream. Today we're going to be working on this page and picking up speed. So I'm doing less sketches, but don't worry, we're also gonna talk about finding the writing method. This could be a very basic video for those that already know how to write very well. But it is fun, isn't it? So I remember, I think I have already told this story, that I come from a family of readers. We love books. We love, not all of them, but some of us love comics. I guess they also read comics. You know, the typical vintage Asterix and Obelix, Sabrina, Archie, a little bit of Fantastic Four maybe. But yeah, mostly books. And I remember showing my dear grandfather, who he reads a lot. And I showed him a story of mine. And he told me, well, in a very honest, sweet way, I would say, it is clear that you care more about the art than the story. So basically my story was shit. And yeah, in the moment, I didn't know how to take that criticism. I was like 8, I don't know, 10, very young. And I got offended. I couldn't see the truth in what he was saying. So, but he was right. I didn't know anything about how to write a story. It was way more intuitive to me to draw a story than to actually write. And I tried writing. I tried just typing words in a white page, but that didn't flow as easily as when I drew. I feel like drawing allows your creativity to flow more. It is way easier, and that's why there are many mangakas even that I don't think they even write a script. But I do think they know very well the story structure. And if I can think of an analogy, it could be maybe that you know how to cook chicken, but the way you cook it may be different to some other person cooking chicken. But you know the steps, the very basics, right? So yeah, each of us has our own voice, things that make things different. But at the end of the day, there's a skeleton of story. There's a skeleton of on us. Even though we're so different, we still have the basic same functions most of the time. So when we're learning to write, it can seem as boring as learning to draw. You know, it's like I already want to write about dragons, castles, and yeah, that's all the things that make it different, maybe. But when you're learning to draw, there's a lot of learning to draw circles, learning to do lines, learning to do some basic anatomy and proportions. It actually starts to become fun once you do it enough. But it sounds extremely boring at the beginning. And there are even pros that hate it. There are mangakas that have commented like, oh yeah, doing crosses in characters' faces, I hate that. That doesn't feel like it's drawing. I hear them. I love it. I think there's such variety once you're advanced enough, you can choose your own style of doing things. But again, I don't think, and all masters drill this into our heads, that learning the fundamentals help you become stronger later. And I also need to learn a lot. But regarding the writing style, why am I defending learning the basics? It's because I know it sounds boring at the beginning. It sounds slow, but I think it liberates you a lot, and it becomes more fun the more you do it. Again, personal style matters. I'm not the wisest person in the world. I'm just reciting also what other masters have done, but I'm finding during my process of following their advice that it's indeed extremely fun. So I have watched the old one, Free Master Class by Brandon Sanderson. I have read a story by Robert McKee. I have read, what was the other one? Oh, Save the Cat by Blake Snyder. I really like that book, actually. I think it's very summarized, very practical on how to write a story. I even took my own notes to visit later. And it's super fun because I have this Winter Secrets, this comic you're watching me draw. The story is relatively easy-ish. It took me a long time, even though, in spite of that. But I also have this very, very complicated story that's gonna be worked on after this one, called May's story. Let's call it right now. And the thing is, it has a million characters, it has a million plot points, not to mention plots. It has so many chapters. I was always all over the place with it. And I feel like when you're writing your first draft of a story, it's easy to become more discouraged. Because, yeah, you're writing something that's mildly interesting, but because it's still all over the place, it's like a very cool puzzle. You see the little pieces and they're cool, but they're not together. It's easy to not see the complete picture. And the more you do it, the more, like when you move on to the second draft, when you fix some things, it starts to become more fun because you're starting to see more of the final product. And for a long time, I didn't fully know what to do with my story. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna write non-stop the zero draft, the first draft. I'm gonna do the same for the second draft. The second draft thing wasn't working very well. I was not loving it, but I pushed through it a little. But then I've been finding a lot of comfort. To be clear, I'm an A-type personality, so this may not work for everyone. For each chapter, dividing everything one thing at a time, because again, it has too many parts. And focus just on one topic, maybe two, but mainly one topic per chapter. Following the idea that each chapter is a different type of plot. So plot, sequence of events in an interesting way. You know what it is. There's a heist plot combined with maybe some hero's journey there, or a romance story, or enemies to friends story that's actually the same beat points or plot points, if you want, as the enemies to lovers story, actually. It's almost the same. We love to watch love in the screen. We just call it different things. We call it body cup movie, or we call it, it's just a story about found family. There's so many that are so similar. So I did that. I did my outline, which you can watch my video about outlines in this channel. But anyway, it is very cool to see your whole story, more or less. It's gonna change a little. Don't feel constrained. I think all writing is a combination probably of following a structure, but also you're discovering things on the process. There's people that like to just discover, there's people that like to plan more. I think comic artists like me may follow both. And at the end of the day, it's what it's clicking with you. If you're seeing like, oh, this method doesn't really work for me that much, then you find another one. But following a formula doesn't mean that you're losing originality, because at the end of the day, you first, ideally, you knew about the basics of story and then you just poured it into the pages. And then when you edit, it's way easier. Technically, I'm editing. Technically, I already have the whole story. Yeah, I'm missing dialogues, I'm missing scenes. But I know what happens from beginning to end, thanks to my outline. May things change? Of course. But it's way easier now. It has taken me so long to figure this out, and I think reading those writing books or taking that free course by Brandon Sanderson may be key. Like you're grabbing help in a recipe book, let's say, and then you invent your own ingredients, but you already have the framework, let's say. I don't think I'm as strong as a writer as I'm an artist. I have maybe worked on this less. But but I'm doing my best. I think at the end of the day, you wing it a little as well. I think at the end of the day, we're all doing the best as possible. So right now, I promise myself to not write on May, so if I do it, it's every once in a while when I go to the Writers Club. But I cannot afford to go every Monday as I used to. I have other things that matter to me. But what I'm gonna try to do is, where's the reference? That one. Well, yeah, I'm gonna go be working on that slowly. I hear. Consistently, even if it's slow. I was all inspired, and then, well, I think I got my point. There's definitely lots of things to talk about writing, but 1, 2, 3, 4. I cannot see. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. These are thinner. So right now I'm living in Mexico, but still cold inside my apartment. Outside it's hot as fuck. But it's not like you see in the movies either. And I'm gonna focus a little. At one point I think I'm gonna start doing Pomodoro, as I said, in this live stream. At the end of the live stream, we're gonna share a couple of subscribers' art. I think that could be a cute thing to build community. If you want to join that, feel free to comment here or on Instagram. 1, 2, 3. It's fascinating to read comic stories that are so good, and on top of that, they did the whole drawing thing. At the end of the day, it's also letting go of some perfectionism. Accepting that if you spend too much time on it, like I do, or used to, you're never gonna finish. My goal in this project is to to finally finish. To influence talking the way I hear more often. Honestly, I think one of my goals at the end of this year is gonna be just seeing a bunch of live streams in my channel. I'm gonna be very happy if I just see at least 40 maybe. Okay, 52 weeks in a year. I mean, ideally near that number. But it's gonna be fun. I honestly tend to choose in the live stream what's easier for me to draw because I know that I'm also talking and I don't want to do work badly because my attention is divided. So I do easy stuff in the live stream and then I'm gonna do boring stuff or stuff that just I know I need to calculate the perspective with some lines of reference. But that can look very boring, I think. Unless you want to let me know. But usually it looks better if you're drawing a young girl. Most people like that. Instagram is flooded with art about young, beautiful women. Women. God. Because I like to see youth. I think it's very important in a comic to take advantage to draw 1,000 more things, of course. But again, this is a very short story. We're gonna definitely see way more characters later, maybe. But yeah, honestly, okay. I wanted to do the live stream. I think I have talked already about this, so I'm gonna stop. But yeah, thanks for keeping me accountable. Even if no one shows up, I can leave a public test that I drew every Sunday. And I think that's already very motivating. One day I will have so much time again. I was listening to a podcast about Ocean's Gate and how this guy, I think Rush is his name, how much he didn't care about safety at all. It got in the way of innovation, he says. Still, it's sad, but you know. It's a little fun what we can believe as humans. Yeah, he felt his purpose was to discover more of the ocean. That's fascinating, to be fair. But it's mind-boggling how dangerous and irresponsible their submarine was. You get into a submarine and it's already dangerous that you're gonna drown. You're in a metal box in the ocean. I remember I wanted to be a marine biologist and actually take some risks like that at some point. I wanted more to be an artist, to be clear, but you know, you sometimes wonder about the different lives you could have taken. If you have enough curiosity, that is. For the world. I wouldn't get into a submarine that's not been tested enough, much less handled by a defective controller. There were not even seats, it seems. I doubt they had a bathroom even. I'm gonna have to search for this after listening to the podcast. I wonder if they have images of how the submarine used to look, or the previous prototype being built. You know, I'm starting to suspect while I'm drawing Elena here. She's so happy to be alone in complete silence. I think I did this for a long while where I was enjoying the silence so much, and I was not listening to podcasts, I was not watching videos, I was not watching TV shows. I was just reading or being in my own thoughts. And it was very enjoyable, but I wonder if I caused myself some emotional issues on accident. Like I ruminated too much sometimes on my own life. Like it became like I was obsessing over it that much that it became difficult. Um, and I wonder if I did basically what prisoners live in jails, and I caused myself a little bit too much silence. Um, I guess I was not even reading that much. I was reading a lot, but and I think at the end of the day, it's good to not be addicted to the phone and everything. But I do think there are extremes sometimes as well. Like if in the silence you're all the time thinking of your own life obsessively. And I was not thinking of the story enough. There's a different feeling when you're actively writing a story than when you're drawing it. When I'm not drawing the story, I know I'm gonna get back to it, so it's not like I'm imagining a particular thing until I get back. I guess I do a little, but most of the time I'm thinking about everything I need to do, and I think that's a very common thing on everyone. I thought obviously about many cool things. So it's a balance. Spoiler alert, she needs to learn this. Hello, Rixa. Rixaraxor. How do you want to be called? Yes, I'm in Mexico. Starting to get hot actually. But I think it's mainly because I'm streaming. So anyone that wants to share their art, feel free. I'm gonna do this before I leave. I think I'm gonna maybe share one person's art per live stream or two. But I could even make a list or something. Could be a cute thing. So I'm so excited that I'm gonna finish this comic page a little quicker than others. Oh, I guess this is gonna take a while. It's just expressing how she's drawing and getting lost in it. Her art style is too lengthy, but it's gonna be fun. But I'm loving that I can reuse these backgrounds that I did myself. There's some corrections I need to do and some things I'm gonna add, but so much fun. Okay, so sí, hablo español. Mucho gusto. Yeah, I also speak Spanish, even if this channel's in English. Okay, let's start with whoever is next. Okay, Ajiso. This is an incognito window, precisely to not have any issues. Yeah, that's his art. Very cool. Their art, I'm sorry. Yeah, a guy on an art adventure, interested in making comics, webcomics, and manga, as if you can't tell. I like this page. This is cool. Oh, fuck. Sorry. Okay, next time I will log in. I promise. But yeah, that gives you an idea. Thanks for watching, Ajiso. This is cool too. A new day and a new jumping off point. Okay, let's share the next one. Where are you? Here. So they're young. Animation graduate. I'm sorry, I'm just old, so yeah. And yeah, that's their store. A very interesting story, it seems, about an engineer. I haven't read it yet, but you know, it's cool to see people just creating stuff. Okay. Oh, let me stop on their name just very briefly. I don't know fully how to pronounce it, so I'm not gonna try, but it is right here. It's a very cool name, though. I feel like it must have a cool pronunciation, but I don't want to get into trouble. Okay, you can call me whatever you want. Rixar. Rixar is cool. Oh, thank you so much for thinking I speak English that well. I definitely need to learn more. But thank you so much for coming. I hope you're also here in the next live stream, or you share your arts or projects. Thank you so much, everyone who watched, and I'll see you in the next live stream.